Hello. Welcome to the Constitution series sponsored by MyStraightTalk.com. Yes, first off, a little bit about the flag behind me. You'll see it's the Don't Tread on Me flag. The first United States Navy ensign, proudly flown during the American Revolution, the early days of the American Revolution. In the coming days and weeks and months, I hope to share with you some of the deep insights I have discovered regarding the United States Constitution, early American history, and the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. These great documents given to us by the founding generation in the 1770s and the 1780s. They are truly remarkable documents. First, I'd like to introduce myself to you so that you'll know who is talking to you and give you a little bit of insight into me and why I can sit here or stand here and share with you about the United States Constitution and history. My name is David Bozarth. I was born and raised in a very small rural community in Missouri in the 60s and 70s. And in that small community in that time, I was instilled with a very deep sense of patriotism for this great country. Every holiday, the Rotary Club of my community would line Main Street with American flags. And I can't tell you what it did to me as a small boy and young boy growing up in Midwest America as the car would turn down Main Street or come over the hill going down into Main Street, USA, seeing those flags waving one after another in front of every business on every corner in Main Street. One of my earliest memories regarding the military occurred when I was in elementary school, when I was honored to attend the funeral of a friend of mine who played with me as a child. He was much older than I, when he came to visit his grandparents next door. This young man was killed in action in Vietnam. And I cannot tell you what it did to me to see that flag-draped coffin, to hear the 21-gun salute and the haunting refrain of taps played in honor of this fallen warrior. It was at that time, very early in my life, not even 10 years old, when I was instilled with a dream to serve the United States in the military. And in 1978, that dream was realized when I enlisted in the United States Navy. As a part of my enlistment, I was required to take an oath. That oath said that I would support and defend the United States Constitution from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Those words went deep inside of me also. One of the greatest moments of my life came in February of 1981, when I had pinned on my chest the Naval Enlisted Submarine Warfare insignia. We call them dolphins or fish. And I became a proud member of the submariner community. I had earned my way, I had proven my ability, and now I was a submariner. Those fish continue to influence my life every day. I was honorably discharged in 1984, and shortly thereafter, I was employed by the Department of Defense and the Department of Navy, working in electronic repair. One of my duties was also to repair, maintain, and fix and test electronic security systems for the United States Marine Corps. That included a couple of bases in the Washington, D.C. area. One time I was on a trip to Washington, D.C. that would last 2 weeks. And over the weekend, I had nothing to do. My family was home in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was going to go sightsee. And I decided that I was going to go to the National Archives building, and I was going to see for myself the original Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights. I must admit that in my excitement, I was one of the very first in line, got there well before the doors opened. Maybe that's a part of my military training too. I still get up early in the morning. But as they opened the doors and we walked in, we were presented many different displays. On one side of the room, there were artifacts from ancient Rome and ancient Greece, detailing their governments and showing how that our founding fathers used those forms of governments as patterns and examples for our government in the Constitution. On the other side of the room, there were facsimiles of the Magna Carta, the Mayflower Compact, the English Bill of Rights of 1682, among others. And there, in the very end of the room, were the sealed enclosures housing the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. I was in awe. As I left the building that day, I decided to go into the gift shop and just peruse and see what they might have. And it was in that room that I found a copy of the Federalist Papers. Now, I had been told about the Federalist Papers. I'd been told who wrote them. I had been told when they were written, why they were written, but I had never read them myself. So I bought that little book, and I decided to read them myself. Can you imagine the shock and dismay and disappointment as I read the words of our founding fathers in Federalist Paper number 9, 10, 11, and 12, as they detailed the examples of Roman Grecian government, and how they said they were inadequate for a free man, or free men and a free society. And they rejected them as patterns for a viable government for the people. They were fraught with problems. They detail the problems of those two governments and reject them outright. That started me on a quest to learn and understand the real history of the United States of America. Not that I had been taught in elementary school and junior high and high school, but the facts of what was really there. What was real American history? And I began to study and read old American documents. I've read old American books. I've read the writings of some of our founding fathers. I've read the Federalist Papers. I've read the Anti-Federalist Papers. And yes, they are difficult to read because they're written in an English that is 200 years old, and we don't use it anymore. It's very hard reading to read those books. But it was during reading this information, it was while I read the words of the founding fathers, it was while I read the words of the founding generation and those who immediately followed them, that I began to get a deeper sense of the meaning of the Constitution, that I began to understand what the words of the Constitution meant, that I began to fully understand that we've been lied to about the Constitution over the past 100 years. And so we are here. At the request of friends on Facebook and at the request of friends in and about my daily life, I now start this series on the Constitution of the United States of America. I wish to share with you over the coming days and weeks insights into our Constitution, insights into the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, most critically the Bill of Rights, because it will shock you when you really learn what it was intended to do. Some of the things from our history that we have not been taught, because I think that will instill in you a deeper patriotism, a deeper understanding, a deeper love for our country that you have never had. Also, we'll take a look at how far we've come and how false some of the statements about the Constitution are that the media, the politicians, the judges, the lawyers, and the educators actually share with us. So, welcome. I hope you will enjoy the coming series on the Constitution. I hope you will send me your questions because I love answering questions. It's very hard talking to this computer because it doesn't respond. So your responses are going to be critical as we set the course to study and learn the Constitution in the Constitution series sponsored by MyStraightTalk.com. Thank you. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.